Hey, welcome back to the channel. Now, if you play LSPDFR, that is the GTA 5 police mod, and you're getting tired of the same searchable items that you're finding on pedestrians, as well as the vehicles inside the game, and they're very unrealistic, like grenades, dynamite, really unusual drugs, dildos, vibrators, and a crap ton of other stuff that is just unrealistic. You're getting tired of seeing the same searchable items, right? So I'm going to show you something you can download, and it's by Officer 034. It is called Search Items Reborn. Really easy to install. It installs in a matter of seconds. And then we're going to get into the game, and I'll show you a quick demo as to what kind of searchable items that you can find and a couple little tweaks that you may want to change. There's over 200 searchable items, which is very nice. And more importantly, that I think is going to be listed here is called lore-friendly items, which means that these are going to be everyday items that are going to be typically found on real people in real life. And also this right here. Yes, we were getting tired of seeing that. So I'm going to show you, it's not that you can't find these on people in real life. It's just we're getting tired of seeing the same thing like used condoms all the time. So we're going to download this and get it onto our desktop. Okay, we have our download right here. It's called Search Items Reborn. We're going to pull up our main game directory. And then we're going to open this up right here. So let's go ahead and open this up. It's called Search Items Reborn. And then you'll see it says Grand Theft Auto 5. We're going to navigate through this folder. Just kind of bear with me and just kind of follow along. We're going to go Grand Theft Auto 5, plugins, and then a folder called LSPDFR. It's in upper caps. And then you'll see your Stop the Ped folder. Now you do need to have Stop the Ped installed. Otherwise, you would not need to install any of this. And you're going to see two items right here. They're XML files, pat down items, and vehicle items. Let's navigate to our Stop the Ped folder first, and there's a reason why I'm telling you to do this. So let's go to plugins, and we're going to go to LSPDFR folder within the plugins folder. And then you're going to see a lot of plugins if you have things installed like I do. And you're going to go to Stop the Ped right here. Now I made a couple of copies. So the pat down items and the vehicle items, you may want to make a copy of yours first. Always get in the habit of doing that first, because if you change some things previously, you don't overwrite your own XML files. And also, if you're not really fond of it, then you can just take it out, delete it out, and then just rename the copy back to the original one. But for now, we're going to replace the pat down items and the vehicle items, and we're going to replace it with the new ones called Search Items Reborn. Take both of these, you're going to pull it right into the Stop the Ped folder. You're just going to let it overwrite. And you're going to say replace. And that's it. You got it installed. Now, there's one thing that I want to kind of tell you about. We're going to back up just a little bit. We're going to back up one time. And we're going to go down to the bottom here where you're going to see Stop the Ped INI. It's a config file. If you don't see INI, don't worry about it. That is your view settings. Mine is under details. So just make sure that you have the config file right there. Let's go ahead and open this up. So when you open the Stop the Ped config file, what you want to do is look for a word called parameters. So start scrolling down, and you're going to see these are buttons. And then right here is you're going to see a word called parameters. Now, these are some things you can change as to what you're going to find within the game. So for example, pet has gun permit probability. I have mine set to about 20%. I'm not really worried about the hunting license or fishing license, but right here is what you want to look at. Now, I intentionally set mine really high because I want to show you what it looks like in game when you have yours set too high. So don't think that more is better. Don't get in that mindset that more is better. So 80% is a little bit too high. And then in my opinion, yellow items, it's not too bad right there. Green items are fine, but the red items are a little bit too much. And I'm going to show you what it looks like in game in just a second. Now, the minimal number of items found is still a little bit too high, in my opinion. We're going to be toning that down in just a minute. And I'm going to show you what it looks like on the screen, because people that have right here for search results full screen, I have mine set to no. I think the majority of people will set theirs to no because they don't like to have their game paused, because it breaks immersion, in my opinion. So if you have yours set to yes, and you're wondering why your game is always paused whenever you're searching a ped or a vehicle, that is the reason why. So you can always change that to no, like me, if you want. And that way you get it's a little bit more fluid gameplay. However, you're gonna see a lot of the text of the items that we're gonna find. You're gonna notice that it's going off the screen. And so I'll talk to you a little bit about that in game. But if you set it to no, that's what you're gonna get right there. So the message to the author, just kind of keep that in mind, that some of us are not going to have yes, where we can see the full screen results on the actual screen itself. So if you have your set to no, you're going to have a limited amount of space to work with. So you're going to see what this is going to look like when we have the maximum number of items found up to 5. And so that's going to be a lot on the screen. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we're going to come back and tone it down to more of a reasonable number, and you'll see a big difference. We're going to go ahead and save that, and then we're going to go ahead and launch the game. Okay, here we are inside the game. I'm just going to do a quick pullover really fast, and I'm going to show you when you have your values set a little bit too high, And then also the a little bit high number of maximum numbers of items found. And I think there is, yeah, there's 3 people in here. That's a good, okay, we got 3 for 1 special here. She's gonna, what are you gonna do? Oh shit. Ma'am, it was all set up to be a glorious pat down, and you go ahead and have to ruin it. Okay, how about you? Yeah, lit up like a Christmas tree. Now, this is what happens when you have your red items to be set too high. You can see it's got an improvised explosive device, a fake military police badge, semi-automatic pistol and concealed carry, holster 1 in the chamber, and a lewd picture of an underage. And then we'll see what his items are. It's gonna be a lot of red items again. Yeah, a quarter-ounce bag of Mary J, sub-combat pistol in pocket and 1 in the chamber, a quarter-ounce of blue crystals, and a credit card reported as stolen. So that's a lot of stuff. And then what about her? Okay, and she had, let's see here, a firing pin, a fake BCSO badge, semi-automatic pistol and concealed carry, holster 1 in the chamber. The pencil is the one I'm worried about because I've seen John Wick. Okay. There we go. We got a lot of things in there. You can see there's a lot of red items. You don't want this. So you can see right here, suitcase full of 1 ounce baggies of, and then you can see it won't fit on the screen. See that above the mini map? There's too many things there. It's probably bolt action rifle or something like that. So you have to go to here, then go to brief, and then go to notifications. And then you can see the bolt action high caliber rifle left in the open, and a 1/2 ounce of white crystals in plastic bag. So none of the stuff will really work. That's fairly realistic to make your patrol go smooth. So now let's go back to set it to more realistic numbers. And I think you guys will be much happier. But before we do that, let's go ahead and unload LSPDFR. So unload plugin, LSPDFR. We're gonna unload it first. And now let's get out of the game and make some changes real quick. Parameters is where you're gonna look at. So right down here in the red item probability weight. This is just my opinion, personally. I think you should tone this extremely low. Low, probably not below 5%, but I would do maybe 8 on that, because you don't want to have to find illegal items every single time, or I should say potential illegal items, because if it's a gun and they have a concealed carry license, then it's perfectly fine, depending on what kind of gun it is, I guess. But you can see right there, perfectly fine. We could put it at maybe even 5 if we wanted to. I'm gonna leave it as 8. And the yellow items probability is just meaning it's possible suspicious, if you will. And we're gonna leave that around maybe 10. And the green possibilities, we're gonna leave that at 15. I think that would be a little bit more, appropriate. If the higher number you go on these two right here, and then depending on the maximum number of items found, the less of a chance you're gonna find red items, because it's gonna take this possibility right here for the max number of items found in consideration. And if you have this set to 90, you're gonna find a bunch of green items all the time. And you're probably not gonna find any red items. So my opinion is don't leave it at 90, obviously. Maybe have it at 20. That'd be a good, reasonable, a type of search for a ped as well as a vehicle. The minimal number of items found, tone that way down. Let's go down to maybe 1. That's just my opinion, okay? If you want to always find something all the time, it'll be, you can move it up to 2 or 3. The maximum number of items found, definitely tone that down. We had it set to 5. We're going to tone that way down to maximum items found, maybe 3. That's just my opinion, because everything will fit on the screen a little bit nicer. And then a message to the author, and this is just my opinion, is if you can change the wording down a little bit as far as the description of what the item is, and maybe where it is found, and if there's 1 in the chamber, 1 unloaded. I like that, but if there's any way you can tone the amount of letters, or I should say wording, down, that way we could always just see it on the screen if they're worded a little bit too long, if you know what I mean, if they're worded a little bit too long. So we're gonna go ahead and save that. And now we're gonna go back into the game, and I'll show you the big difference as to a realistic searchable items and the amount of items and the red items versus the yellow and green items. So we're gonna go ahead and load LSPDFR, and we're gonna go ahead and force duty. Okay, now let's take a look at these searchable items that we find on these guys. It should be a lot less red and a little bit more reasonable items, I should say. Go ahead and search him. They had a bag of chewing tobacco. Okay, that's reasonable in this guy. And so if you do find a red item, it's more of a surprise and it really keeps you on your toes. You can see a debit card and Peds name, which is good, and a bottle of whiskey. And then we'll search him and then see what he has on him. Okay, there we go. So that red one popped up pretty good, even though we have it set at a lower value, right? Revolver and open carry, holster, one in the chamber. So he really needs to make sure he has a gun permit. And then he also had something in yellow there. Let's go to brief again. Sorry. There you go, notifications. An unmarked white pill in a plastic bag. So that should be a item we can do a narcotics field test as well. And we can do a narcotics field test in a second. We'll do a weapon serial check. Those words barely fit on the screen, by the way. We'll see what the serial number comes back. It's valid. It's Cam Waller. And see if he's got a gun permit. He does not. He has one in the chamber, by the way. So he would be under arrest for that. He's got a suitcase full of quarter-ounce baggies of white powder. Okay, that's interesting right there. So that's a good find. LSD. Yeah, it was LSD. So now we're going to go to the suitcase full of quarter-ounce baggies of white powder. Mandalorian. Yeah, it's Mandalorians. That's how you get past the YouTube algorithm right there. There we go. He had some Advil, a credit card in Peds name, and $20 in cash. Nice. So I like that. I like the searchable items that are more reasonable. Yeah, a bottle of whiskey, 5-pound dumbbells, and a tire iron. Okay, so she had a lewd picture of a, you can see there on the screen above the minimap. Can't say that due to YouTube algorithm there. And the cool thing is you could do narcotics field tests on the yellow items. So it's probably going to be right there. A lot of times it is. Yeah, that's what it is. He had a revolver in his waistband, one in the chamber. So let's take a look at him now. See, even if you sit it this low, you're going to get some red items, right? So this is Billy Hill, and he has no gun permit. So learn your lesson, Billy. The photo. Okay. Okay, get a life. Okay, guys, it's going to wrap it up. I hope you got some use out of today's video. If you did, even in the slightest, please hit the like button, leave a comment down below to let me know. I would really appreciate you doing that. Just log into YouTube, take those few extra seconds for me. It really helps the YouTube algorithm. And I would strongly encourage you to go ahead and download and try it yourself, the Search Items Reborn. Give it a try and see if you like it. And then the message to the author, and you guys know I'm always honest, so I'm going to give him an honest message here. I think he's on to something really good here with the Ped searchable items, and I know he spent a lot of time doing that. I really appreciate him uploading everything and also suggesting that I review his plugin or his files rather, to replace for the searchable items for the Ped and the vehicle. However, I would suggest to him that he would lower the wording down a little bit so that it can fit on everybody's screen because not all of us use the 4-screen mode where it pauses the game. Because personally, I don't like that. A lot of people don't like that. I know people like Steve the Gamer like that, but a lot of us do not. And so we have very limited box for the amount of words that can fit on the screen. So I do appreciate you, and you guys take care. We'll see you in the next patrol. Stay safe.